fun this week. How about you guys?
Yeah.
Better than shopping boarding clothes, which I do the rest of the year. So anyway, all right. First of all, it's been an incredible week because I love the guys and gals on my team, the leaders, Jen, who's the other adult leader. Got to know each of these kids really well, and I got to know a whole lot of other people here. And it's really amazing to see how God is working in so many lives. And so what I wanted to do tonight was tell you about how Jesus has worked in my life. So there's 3 parts to this. The first one is it's me and my wife, how he brought us together, how he kept us together, and then the eternal legacy. So I won't take too long, but I think these are important things. First of all, we met at college, and I almost blew it the first night. We had a party, and I went up to bed early, and my roommate, Jay Torchio, Campo guy, he thought he was a Campo gal. Anyway, he went upstairs. He said, "There's these girls downstairs who want to talk to you." And I was already in bed, right? And I said, "Nah."
Where did you go to school?
Oh, I went to Cal.
Go Bears!
Stanford shirt here tonight. He's a nice guy.
That's right.
All right. So we met at a fraternity party, and I went to bed early on a Thursday night. I played football there, and 2 nights before the game, or a big test, or something else in your life, that's the best night for sleep. If you don't sleep well that night, you know, what you do 2 days later is at risk. So I lost my job. I was trying to win it back. I was a punter. And so I went to bed early. But Jay Torchio came up and he said, "Mike, there's these girls downstairs. They want to talk to you again," because I met them earlier. And I said, "Oh, I'm tired. I got to get my sleep." He said, "No, get down there." So I went down there, and one of the 2 girls was Kathy. The other one was her best friend. And we went out for yogurt at Yogurt Park in Berkeley, and it turns out maybe 10,000 other times she bought yogurt in our lifetime together, and it's very expensive. But it was a great way to make her happy. And so after that, we started dating, and we ended up going to college, our Campus Crusade for Christ, which is it's a group that ministers to people, you know, college-age kids that are looking for a relationship with Christ, and also fellowship with other college students. And it was really fun. So to fast forward a little bit, we dated all the way through college. Oh, also, she was a cheerleader, so she was also a cheerleader. But I was the only player that got to have his girlfriend on the plane when we went anywhere. So we're kind of like in fact, the guys in my house called us Mom and Dad because we kind of looked like that, we acted like that, and we ended up getting married and had an awesome life. We were successful in our businesses, and we bought a house out in Lafayette, and had kids, 3 of them. Of course, they all went to campus at Kathy, and so life was going great. And so God brought us together, and everything was set up great. Okay, so then things didn't go so well. We had a couple issues in the family, extended family, and I made wrong decisions, and it divided the house, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. And our house wasn't standing, and it was affecting the kids. It was, of course, affecting Kathy and I, and our relationship was falling apart. And I really didn't know what to do. I didn't think I could make her happy, and it wasn't that she was trying to be demanding. She needed to be. She felt betrayed because of what was happening in the family dynamics, and I wasn't protecting her and supporting her. But I had my own opinions, and so things got worse, and to the point where I actually had papers drawn up for a divorce. Not because I didn't love her, I wasn't going to fight anything. She could have had everything. But because I wanted her to be happy. And that wasn't going to be with me. At the same time, you guys, some of you know Joan Batchelor. Her husband, Bruce, brought me to church, dragged me to church at 6:30 in the morning to go to something called Men's Fraternity. It's like, hey, I'll go because he badgered me. But I'll tell you what, the series was like 8 weeks long. It started off, it's like, okay, interesting stuff, but as each week progressed, I felt like the guy was talking right to me. He was pointing at me. Jesus was trying to get me a message, and the message was die to live, and not in a physical sense, but I realized that I needed to die to the thing. I needed to think about what I was doing and think about whether it was right or wrong, and could I die to the things that really weren't important so that I could live, so I could be a husband and a father the way I was supposed to be. Christ calls Christian men to be husbands and fathers, husbands completely, unendingly, and sacrificially. And the first two are easy. The second one's not so, or the third one's not so easy. Sacrificing the things that I thought were right. When you're arguing with people, you stand your ground. Well, okay, that almost broke us apart. But Jesus touched me during those several weeks, and I realized that I needed to change. And I was in the process of doing that when she found out she had stage 3 breast cancer, it was bad. Obviously, it was on the chest wall, so they couldn't do surgery. I had to do chemo first, and she fought it, and she, as I began to change and support her, she appreciated that very much, and of course, especially then, and I wanted to add to her chances of surviving. It worked great. I apologize. They offered me a time in church to give a testimony, and I apologized in public 2 services. And as I was writing it, I thought, I'm laying bare all these things that I've done wrong, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to want to talk to me at church, but I didn't give a darn. And I went there with peace. I slept like 2 hours that night, ran out of paper, so I was writing on China plates. And but I knew Jesus wanted me to do that, so I did it, and it saved our relationship. Jesus saved it. He kept us together because he touched my heart, that I needed to own up to the things that I'd done wrong. And he touched her heart by giving me the opportunity to rebuild the relationship and to earn things back. So he kept us together too. So the family healed. Our kids are all grown, 26 and older. They still suffer though, certain effects of parents that are fighting. It wasn't physical, but it was verbal and silence at dinner, and I had a temper issue, broke the door jamb and the TV. So not proud of those things, but God touched my heart, and I became a new person. I was the man I was supposed to be as a Christian husband. Okay, so the years went on, and then during COVID, just before COVID, we were going to start traveling. I coached football at Campo, and I was having my last year, and we were going to go. And she supported me all those years that I coached. I still coach there. The thing is, we had COVID, so couldn't go anywhere. She let me coach, she encouraged me to coach the next season and so forth. And as COVID ended, it was time. We were going to travel. Cancer came back at the end of 21, and came back really bad. It was stage 4, so all over her liver. There was really no chance. And she died February 18th, 2 years ago, and it was, of course, devastating for everybody. But for what you guys got to know is that her faith was so strong that she never, ever was angry with God. She never questioned her faith. There's a passage, Jeremiah 29:11, that says, I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope in a future. And she believed that all the way to the end. And she never felt harmed. I know she didn't want to die, go through the pain. No, she didn't want to leave me or the kids or her grandson or the people in her faith, the MVPC and her other friends. She didn't want to do that, but she knew where she was going. And she was at peace. The last day, the last hours, she still felt it. She was still joyful because she knew where she was going, and she was grateful for what God had given her. And she knew she was going to see Jesus in a very short time. So she died, and of course, we all miss her. But let's talk about eternal legacy for a second. When your wife, or mother, or daughter, or friend goes all the way through this stuff and ends with still with joy, still with faith, never questioned that Jesus was waiting for her, that Jesus wanted her to be, with him and peaceful down here. She never questioned it. And I got to tell you that it's a legacy that the kids, it really helped them. We know other people in the room here that have lost parents, and it's really difficult. But to see their mom, who loved Jesus, her Bible has, several packets of sticky notes in it, but she read the whole thing more than once. And, anyway, my point is that she was strong all the way. And so the eternal legacy, Clint, if you could. That was her first moment in heaven. And that even actually looks like her without the hair color. And she knew that's what was coming. That's why she could be joyful to the end. And she left a legacy with family, with friends, but with her kids and with me. And so I can't question. I got to live it out. I got to be all in for Jesus. And I got to be serving like she did, which is why I keep coaching, which is why I volunteered to do this. And believe me, I get a lot more than I put into it. It's, So anyway, that's the eternal legacy. And she set a great example for everybody that she knew. So she had Jesus in her life. And, anyway, it saved it brought us together, saved our marriage, and the eternal legacy that she left. So what I would wrap up by saying to you guys is that we know what Jesus did in our lives. Do you know what Jesus is going to do in your life? And there's one way to find out, and that's to be open-minded, to invite him in, and to trust that he will lead you from here through your troubles someday to heaven. So, thank you.
God, thank you for Mike. Thank you for the love of his wife that brought him so much joy. Thank you for the peace that you bring him now, knowing that Kathy is safe in your arms and you will hold her forever, and that eventually, Lord, you will bring them back together again. I pray for comfort for him even now, God, as he relives some of that story, and I know it's painful for him. Lord, but thank you for his courage to share with us, to bare his soul once again, and to offer you the praise for what you've done through it all. God, so thank you for Mike and his being here with us today. Amen.
Amen.